Jessica, while she is super into Mark, is also testing the waters with Barnett. And unlike Mark, Barnett isn't 10 years younger than her. He's more like 7 years younger than her. So,
Way better.
So there.
I'm about 5 years older than my husband, which is also something I never ever anticipated. I thought, I'm gonna find someone who isn't anyway mature. They're gonna have to be like in their 40s if I'm, gonna meet the right person. I mean, I knew, of course, there were occasionally very mature men out there in their 20s, but I was just like, there's no way I'm gonna meet someone in their early to mid 20s that is gonna be mature enough to be a wonderful husband. And then I did, so. Hey guys, sorry for how pixelated this is. I was just in the mood to sit on the sofa rather than try to change my light source and stay at my little desk, so I'm going to be on the sofa. But today I was recommended Love is Blind as something that I could react to, and unfortunately I can't seem to find anything on YouTube that's like full episodes just straight through, and I don't have Netflix. So if you have a suggestion for like different clips or maybe some kind of way I could watch Love is Blind without having Netflix, let me know. But I did find a couple videos that I thought would be fun. There is a YouTube channel called Bachelor Fantake, and it sounds like he just does a lot of summaries of all kinds of different shows like this. So I think we'll try reacting to his first episode, his episode 1, season 1, I believe, of Love is Blind, and we'll just kind of see how that goes. And then there's another video that I didn't watch all the way through, but it was actually kind of like a behind the scenes, but not really behind the scenes. I think it was maybe 2 men who were on the show talking about how actually not healthy of an experience it was, just with how they were treated on just by, I think, the crew, the producer. I don't even know how all it works, but it just sounded like reality TV, shocking, is just obviously not a very healthy place to be. So I thought that might be interesting to listen to too. Sorry, I'm rambling at this point, but we'll start with the recap of season 1, episode 1.
Because what's better than staying in but watching other people stay in and fall in love? At least for the few first episodes. Then we get to watch them horrifically go to bars and be outside. So if you haven't watched Love is Blind episode 1, go do so. Or don't, I'm not your boss, but we're going to do Love is Blind breakdowns week to week. Why? Because what the heck else am I going to do? Videos on Listen to Your Heart? Yeah, I'll probably do that. But other than that, what is there? Learn to quilt? I refuse. So, alright, time to do the thing.
Good for
Last
him.
episode on Love is Blind.
If we get married, then we have to make it work.
We do. Cameron,
Yes,
I think I love you.
I love you.
I actually did become aware of this couple in trying to research Love is Blind, and I'll probably do some reactions to them because they just seem so sweet, so genuine. I hope they stay together forever and ever. They're still together at this point, from what I can tell, so that's great.
Love is Blind. The new hit reality dating show straight out of Netflix hit us earlier this year with some surprisingly fun content, especially for their freshman year as a show. The concept is this: throw 2 strangers into a cell, lower down a bunch of food level by level, and that's the platform. Throw 2 strangers into a pod, have them get to know each other, and see
What a
if they
visual.
will commit to an engagement. All while never knowing what the other person looks like. The contestants get to date around, find who they
Is
want
that-
to be with.
Is that CG, or are all those pods actually like that? I know so little about the show. What an awkward frame to pause it on.
Then decide whether or not the 2 want to get engaged.
It's
After
crazy.
that, they get to see each other and go on a honeymoon and so on and so forth. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. For now, it's a fresh show with fresh meat arriving on our screens. Here come
so
the
that's
men
the set.
and here come the women, and it's time to meet some of the contestants. Like Lauren here. She's a content creator. Hey, that's like me. Lauren.
I think she's the one who got married to the other guy that I was just mentioning. I really liked them. Is that her, or am I getting her mixed up with someone else? Sorry, my hair is just looking awful today. I need a shower. Anyway, if that's her, she's amazing, I think.
Here is looking for someone who's serious.
We're 95 years old. My boobs might be like dragging on the floor, but I need you to love my saggy boobs.
And alongside Lauren.
I love it. It's so accurate. I mean, especially, oops. I didn't realize that I didn't. Whatever. Anyway, I love people on shows like this where it's just all about looking like the absolute model, the most modelish person you can find. I love that she's just being honest and open. Like, I just need someone who's gonna like my saggy boobs when I'm old.
And we have a whole other cast of characters. Some we'll get to know very intimately, some will only be first couple of episodes, and some will even get engaged but then get completely cut from the show. But that's a conspiracy for another day. For now, it's time to introduce our hosts, Nick and Vanessa Lachey, who are going to tell us all the rules. You know, no physical or social distractions, dating in the pods for 10 days, can't see each other, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Let's get in these pods, people. So.
Okay, so let me pause this. So if I'm understanding correctly, then this is a 10-day process before they, excuse me, decide whether they're going to get engaged to someone that they meet through these pods and then see them face to face. So it's like 10 days worth of this.
Day 1 of the experiment and 37 days until the wedding goes down. The gang all heads into their pods that look like this. Pretty comfy and plenty of booze to go around. On the other side is your date. And for the next little bit, all you have to do is talk.
Can you see anything?
No.
Wow.
There's nothing happening.
This is the backside of Jessica. She's 34
Whoops.
and
What a vibe. They definitely did a good job of kind of creating this ethereal ambiance all around them. But in the other video that I hope to react to, maybe not tonight, we'll see, where they're talking about their treatment, alcohol is a big thing that they're mentioning, how it's like they gave us plenty of alcohol, but like no food. And I think that that's maybe common, maybe? I don't know, for some of these reality shows, which is terrible.
a regional manager. And she's
I love the
interested in
acting.
changing things up from the usual guys she dates, because she's ready to start a family.
Jessica, nice to meet you, Jessica. I'm Mark.
Nice to meet you, Mark.
And this is Mark. Mark is a fitness instructor, and he's 24,
Looks like he
a
would be.
10-year difference with Jessica. But this is not the time to worry about that. This is the time
What do y'all think about 10 years? Like in general, do you have any issues with age gaps that are notable like that? Or if you're okay with certain age gaps, is there a point where you cut it off? Because I definitely recognize that in some ways age really is just a number. My sister and her husband are, I think, 12 years apart, and they are the most adorable, perfect couple you could ever meet. So I don't necessarily have an issue with it, but I think I would just want to know, why is this person wanting or willing to be with someone who is, I can't formulate words tonight, who is so much older than them? This person who's willing to date this younger person, is it just because they really felt like they had a great chemistry, or is there maybe something else going on? I just want to know a little more information before deciding on a given scenario between two people.
to get to know each other's personalities. Like, are you funny, flirty, forward? Do you both happen to be from Chicago and are huge Bears fans? Next up is Lauren. Remember her? She's meeting with Cameron. Cameron's a science guy, so he's always down for
Yeah, that's the couple. So Lauren and Cameron, that was it. They are so adorable. I already love them, and I know nothing about the show.
a good experiment. The two chat about being extroverted introverts, and things are starting off pretty smooth.
So when am I going to see you again?
Soon as possible.
But while these first couple of pod dates have hit it off, not all are going well.
If I had to guess, I'd say you're African American.
Okay, though, you may be saying, whoa, this guy might just be making an observation. He might not care either way.
Actually, no, I'm white.
Are you?
Next in the pod,
I mean, I guess it's not inherently a wrong question to ask, but especially if it's like really early on, it just feels very awkward. And like, why does that matter? But anyway.
pods is Amber.
I ain't ugly.
Amber is an ex-tank mechanic from the Georgia National Guard who claims to be more than just a pretty face. She's meeting with Barnett.
Interesting.
He usually goes for the pretty girl and is hoping this time he can get past looks and truly connect with someone's personality. And well, things seem like a
Interesting. So he knows about himself that he gets hung up on looks and hopes that this can be a chance for him to not do that. It's an interesting approach to his own psychology, but I feel like if you are convinced that you might have an issue with something like that, you need to work on your issues privately and figure out where they come from and how to heal that healthfully before then embarking on something so insane as this show. But that's just my opinion. Come on.
match with him and Amber, things are also going well with him and Jessica.
Ooh.
My dog sleeps with me every night, so
Really?
yeah.
I love that.
Oh, get ready to hear that a lot. Like, I'm warning you right now.
I'm a big cuddler, and she knows
I
it,
love
so
that.
she just
See? Told you. We then move on to a montage of dates that just aren't working. Whether it be because there's a lack of chemistry, or it's because Barnett called Diamond here a stripper, or Carlton
What?
here walking out of his pod
I think
date
I
with
saw that.
Amber as she describes the origin story of how she became such a tomboy.
So one of the things that I'm just always curious about with these shows is, are they ever just completely fake? Are there always some people who are genuinely looking for connections? Are they all genuinely looking for connections? Are there people in there that are like industry plants, if you will, where it's like they're just an actor in real life? Maybe they're with someone else totally, but they're just there to kind of hype up the show. You know, how much of this is actually real? I don't know. It's hard to tell.
After all this chaos of speed dating and getting to know new voices and personalities, the men and women head back to their common areas to discuss how their dates went. Like, one person says they were asked if they were a virgin. This brave soul
So
raises
awkward.
his hand to say that he is, and he was never heard from again. Seriously, we'd like
Yeah.
never see this guy again after this. And there's a whole other story he goes through that doesn't get seen. It's just cut from the show. But that's something perhaps for another video. So
I might want to look into that. I'm very curious what's going on there. But yeah, that's an example of oversharing. There's certain details that you don't necessarily need to announce to anyone and everyone. I do think the whole virgin conversation is necessary for two people. If there is question about it, I would imagine most people on a show like this would probably assume everyone has had experience that way. But like me coming from my very conservative circles, that was an important conversation to have. And different people have different views. I was never someone who was like, I need to be with someone who is a virgin. But obviously I prefer to be with someone who didn't have like a huge list of former partners. So, I mean, in certain contexts, it's a really good conversation to have. Just announcing it to all the dudes on set, probably not the best option, but you know.
So the first day of pod dating is over, and a new
Did
day
they just sleep
begins.
there?
Today, we're starting off the pod dates with Carlton and Diamond. Diamond is a professional basketball dancer who's used to getting attention from guys just off of her looks. So she's interested in finding a man who connects with her emotionally before.
I didn't mean to speed through emotionally before. A basketball dancer, so is that like a cheerleader, except not? Confused. Also, you better be a pretty amazing person with a name like Diamond, but I guess she didn't really get to choose it, so her parents must have had high hopes for her. And yeah, hopefully she does well on the show.
Physically. And it looks like Carlton might be that guy. We then check in with Jessica and Mark, who are continuing to build something while Barnett is vibing with someone new.
So they all
LC.
sleep on these
This
islands?
is on top of his already established connections with Amber and Jessica. Because things move fast in the pods. There's a huge cap.
Yeah, no, I could not do that. I've always had a huge issue. And I mean, everyone does dating differently, so I don't want to be judgmental. But there's always been a part of me that's had a huge issue with the concept of dating numerous people at once, especially like really taking each person seriously. Like if someone is claiming that they're really trying to figure out a solid, long partnership, and yet they're dating numerous people at once, it's like, I don't really know how you could take each person equally seriously. If you're just dating to have, you know, a grand time and get free meals or whatever, then I could see dating numerous people at once. But like in this kind of scenario, it would just grate on me because it's like either you're actually really serious and yet still maybe kind of dating several people at once, or you're just here to play, which for me, if I were to be on a show like that, that would be a waste of my time. But I also would never do a show like this.
Cast of people all exploring different connections coming at us all in a very short period of time.
It's a
But
cool visual.
one couple seems to be laser focused on each other.
I felt the strongest connection with you.
Oh, I felt the strong connection with you too.
The conversation then moves on to more serious topics. When was the last time you cried, and what was it about? For Cameron, it was about his mom's health, and the two both get emotional. Tears come.
Oops, sorry, bad time to cut it off. I did see that mentioned. I saw them talking about that, and I think that's great. And it really reminded me of the dynamic with my husband and I, where it wasn't like it was just some kind of weird arrangement where it's like, do you check all these boxes? Yes, we shall get married. I mean, obviously we enjoyed each other. We made each other laugh. I mean, you know, all the positive things, but there was an element to how we decided to get married so quickly because we met and married within a year, I think. Yeah, less than a year. Which is insane, and I don't usually recommend that for anyone. But there were just enough signs within each of our lives where so many things lined up so well, so many things allowed us both to understand each other in really deep levels. But we also, very similar to this couple, we had serious conversations right away. And not like awkward or like rudely asking questions on the first date that shouldn't be asked on a first date, but we were very intentional and very willing to share because neither of us, I didn't want my time to be wasted and I didn't want to waste his time, and he felt the same. So I really, when I see people really trying to just kind of jump right into some of those serious conversations, I personally think that's a great sign because it just shows respect and it shows, hey, I'm in this for the right reasons and I know what's important to me, what's important to you. Let's go from there. So I like it.
Come out, and Lauren and Cameron start to realize that something extra is going on here. Lauren then comes back to the ladies, swooning, telling everyone about what just happened in the pod, and Jessica's like,
I thought so.
and this has set the tone for the rest of the show. Now people are thirsting for that big emotional connection, a moment like the one that was shared between Lauren and Cameron. Mark opens up with Jessica about how religious he is, and that he has a cross tattoo with an open spot for his children's names to be written on it, to which Jessica naturally replies,
Interesting.
I love that.
and after opening up, Mark is just on
If that's not just poor editing, if she really does respond that way, I would love to know her psychology, because it seems very fake, obviously, but it's an interesting term to use over and over, and I feel like it might subconsciously be something for her where she's like, I want to say something that's not going to be a put down, it's going to sound supportive, but it's also zero effort. So who knows? It's interesting.
Cloud 9, but Jessica, while she is super into Mark, is also testing the waters with Barnett. And unlike Mark, Barnett isn't 10 years younger than her. He's more like 7 years younger than her. So,
Way better.
So there. Fast forward, and we're on day 4 of the...
Excuse me, full disclosure, whatever. If I haven't mentioned it already, I'm about 5 years older than my husband, which is also something I never ever anticipated. I thought after my past experiences, I was like, if I'm going to find someone who isn't anyway mature, they're going to have to be like in their 40s if I'm, going to meet the right person. So someone more than just a couple years younger than me was completely out of my range of thinking, oh, this might, I mean, I knew, of course, there were occasionally very mature men out there, in their 20s. But I was just like, there's no way I'm going to meet someone in their early to mid 20s that is going to be mature enough to be a wonderful husband. And then I did. So
experiment, and Lauren and Cameron are still coming off the high of their emotional date the day before. Immediately, they both express how much they've been thinking about each other, that they actually come to these pods wanting to look good even though they know the other person can't see them.
yeah, well, I was going to say, I mean, they both look great. And I think that's a comment that one of the interviewers of this couple mentioned. Like, they both have such a great sense of style. She does a great job finding colors that look good on her. I'm still trying to figure that out for myself.
And there's this pause, something in the air, and this happens.
Cameron,
Yes,
I think I love you.
I love you.
Honestly, when I first watched this, I got really caught up. This
Yeah, I really love that. And I just want to explain, if you happen to see me wincing, I'm not going to go into detail, but there was a reason that he admitted to having the pillow where it was. Yep.
show got me more invested in a couple's relationship in 35 minutes than The Bachelor did with any couple all last season. Like, I was going, oh my goodness, I love you two.
Yes! Because they're so sweet.
Lauren and
And
Cameron
genuine.
then tear up and say, if we get married, this is it. We have to make it work. We do. But I trust you. And I'm honestly here in shambles. I'm just an emotional wreck. How did this happen? I wasn't expecting this. And then there's 15 more minutes of this episode that I have to get through after this. Like, Carlton and Diamond here have a deep emotional conversation, but I'm still recovering from Lauren and Cam. Mark passionately expresses his feelings for Jessica, that he wants her, but I'm just like, yeah,
Love that.
I don't know. This is no Lauren and Cameron. Still, the show must go on.
No, because even though I don't know Lauren from Adam, I'm very certain she wouldn't just say love that, love that, love that over everything. I think she's got a slightly larger vocabulary.
And after Mark lets the guys know he's all in on Jessica, suddenly Barnett is like, whoa, but I was talking with Jessica. Okay, let's put those shenanigans on pause. It's time for Lauren and Cameron's final pod date. And they're all dolled up.
Whoa.
Why are they all dolled up?
Literally
oh my
black tie.
goodness.
Oh my god.
Oh, I remember
Cameron
that.
then asks Lauren to approach the wall.
My god.
He gets down on one knee and...
Oh my god.
I love the editing.
Will you marry me?
Oh my god, yes.
And after that, I was just here like...
Yeah.
So the two head back to see everyone else and all get a big group cheers and congrats.
But I mean, it just blows my mind. Like, I guess really there's only two types of people that belong on a show like this. Either someone that is almost okay with arranged marriage, more or less, where it's like, we will have the conversations we need to have. We will be in each other's presence, sort of, a few times, and then we'll make up our mind for the rest of our life. You know, we could do it. There's that person, or there's the person that just likes the clout and the attention and the bragging rights of saying they were on national television, you know. No in between.
Before it's time for the two to finally see each other. But before the episode moves on to that, there's one more pod date to get to. Barnett has one last shot to tell Jessica how he's feeling. Jessica, I may be dating 2 other women right now, but I really don't like that you're making a connection with Mark. But Jessica says she knows about his connections with the other women, so what's the big deal, bro?
If this place had nobody, no other guys, and no other girls, I would propose to you tomorrow.
Which is such a lame thing to say. If no one else was here, I'd totally get engaged to you.
Because the other way you can say that is, I might be able to do better than you, so I'm holding out. But if I couldn't do any better than you, then I'd absolutely marry you. That does not feel good.
But that doesn't matter, because all Jessica hears is,
I would propose to you tomorrow.
and now Jessica is all in, and she's ready to pull the plug on Mark. But Barnett's jumped the gun a bit. Okay though, the moment has now come. It's time for the reveal. Lauren and Cameron, newly engaged, head to meet each other. Okay, this is so exciting. Time for the reveal. And the show, of course, ends. A nice big cliffhanger to get you to...
Okay, well. Anyway, yeah, so that was a little interesting, I guess, sneak peek into how the show works. And sorry, it is really hard for me to find scenes. I was able to find them meeting, so maybe I can do a video on that. But yeah, what an interesting concept of a show. You'd really have to go in being very determined to be very intentional with who you were talking to and how you were, you know, like the dynamic that you notice between yourself and them, and why am I having this conversation? What is my end goal? And are they willing to commit at the same level I am? And that's a lot of pressure for someone that you haven't seen, but very interesting. Okay. All right. Well, I'll talk to you later.